At this very moment, standing at the precipice of your awareness, is an immense reality far exceeding the dimensions of the material world you perceive with your five senses. An invisible force, a being of light of superior evolution, is dedicated exclusively to your progress and, whether you recognize it or not, is constantly attempting to engage you in a deep, profound communication. This is not a flight of fantasy or the product of wishful thinking. It is a meticulously documented truth, codified by Allan Kardec over a century and a half ago, whose work stands not as a religious dogma, but as a rational philosophy and a science of the spirit, offering irrefutable evidence of life's continuation beyond the physical veil. Kardec, through his systematic interviews with spirits across the globe, laid the groundwork for understanding this interdimensional reality. His findings were later demonstrated practically by figures like Chico Xavier, Brazil's greatest medium, whose voluminous body of work channeled directly from the spiritual plane brought solace and proof to millions, and by Edgar Cayce, the American mystic, whose trance readings confirmed the existence of this intricate guidance system, detailing the spiritual blueprint of souls across multiple lives. The human condition is often one of profound spiritual solitude, a deep, pervasive feeling of being utterly alone in facing life's monumental challenges. Yet, every inexplicable surge of energy, every moment where a solution seems to manifest from nowhere, every hair-raising sensation of presence when you know you are physically alone, hints at a fundamental misperception. Have you ever been startled by a vivid dream, one so intensely real, so laden with meaning from a relative who has passed, that the memory leaves an indelible emotional or spiritual mark upon waking? If the answer is yes, then prepare to have your eyes opened, for you stand on the threshold of understanding the silent, powerful dialogue that your spiritual guide, your perennial friend and counselor, is orchestrating in your life. We are about to delve into the very nature of these communications, moving beyond mere anecdotes to explore the deep Kardecian principles that govern the interactions between the two worlds, revealing the specific methods, the undeniable signals that these beings of light utilize to pierce the veil and sustain their sacred, ceaseless mission of elevating your soul. This is not about seeking the sensational. It is about grasping the wisdom that transforms the mundane into the miraculous, preparing you to finally recognize, interpret, and respond to the urgent, vital messages that have been directed to you since the very first breath you took. To fully appreciate the scope of spiritual communication, we must begin with the foundational truth revealed by the superior spirits to Allan Kardec in the Spirit's Book: the existence of the spirit protector, or what is commonly and devotionally called the guardian angel. This is a profound, life-altering concept detailed in question 459 and its subsequent elaborations, where it is revealed that each individual is assigned at least one superior spirit from the moment of birth until the moment of physical death. This assignment is not random. It is often rooted in deep spiritual sympathy, born of connections forged across previous incarnations, and is an unparalleled demonstration of divine providence. This guide is an entity far advanced on the evolutionary scale, typically possessing a moral and intellectual superiority that places them beyond the mundane concerns and imperfections that plague our terrestrial existence. Their mission is one of the highest possible service, to gently lead you on the path of good, to sustain you through trials, to inspire you toward your moral potential, and to protect you from influences that could irrevocably derail your evolution. The tragic irony, a theme Kardec returned to repeatedly, is that the vast majority of humanity lives their lives in complete ignorance of this celestial companionship, rejecting the most powerful, loving support available to them. This relationship is not one of subservience, but of profound, eternal mentorship. Your protector is not a distant deity to be invoked only in moments of extreme crisis. They are an active, moment-to-moment influence, a spiritual presence that accompanies your every thought and action. Kardec's inquiries clarified that while the protector's power is immense, it is constrained by the sacred boundary of free will. They will never coerce you, never remove obstacles arbitrarily, because true growth, the very purpose of your current incarnation, is predicated upon the exercise of choice and the overcoming of difficulty through personal effort. The tragedy, therefore, is rooted not in abandonment by the guide, but in the spiritual deafness of the incarnate, whose minds are so engrossed in the material pursuits, the noise of daily life, and the vibrations of lower desires, that the clear, high-frequency signal of the guide is simply drowned out. To recognize the reality of this protector is to instantly shatter the illusion of isolation. It is to realize that you are an eternal soul embedded within an eternal spiritual family, watched over and cared for by a being whose love for you is not merely conditional or fleeting, but boundless, unconditional, and utterly constant, waiting patiently for you to tune in and acknowledge their loving, guiding presence. One of the most profound and essential teachings of Allan Kardec is the explanation for why spiritual guidance is so often subtle, seemingly elusive, rather than immediate and overt. Why does the celestial guardian not appear in a blinding light and simply solve all our problems or hand us the map to success? The answer lies in the cardinal principle of livre arbitrio, free will, and the superior wisdom that governs spiritual education. As detailed in the Spiritist doctrine, the purpose of life on earth is not comfort or ease, but moral and intellectual progress. If your guide were to constantly intervene in a palpable, undeniable manner, dictating every step and solving every challenge, two catastrophic outcomes would occur. First, you would fail to develop your own inner strength, your judgment, your fortitude, becoming permanently dependent and spiritually stunted. And second, the very cornerstone of human responsibility, the liberty of choice, would be destroyed, reducing your actions to mere reflexes of external influence. This refined mode of assistance is what we call the sublime delicacy of guidance. It is an action that respects the autonomy of the soul while maximizing the opportunity for learning. The guides act as master tutors, not dictatorial masters. They do not prevent the child from tripping, but they ensure the fall is not fatal. They allow the necessary stumbles so that the child may develop the muscle memory and coordination required for independent locomotion. Their assistance is channeled through inspiration and moral influence, always aimed at the nobler path, the higher purpose, the choice rooted in charity and wisdom. Kardec taught that the true manifestation of a superior spirit's power is not in the theatrical display, but in the gentle, persistent implantation of thoughts that encourage virtue and steer away from error, leaving the final decision, and therefore the full merit or consequence, entirely to the individual. Understanding this delicacy is crucial, for it shifts your expectation from demanding an obvious miracle to cultivating a receptive inner state, making you a willing partner in your own evolution rather than a passive recipient of divine handouts. The spiritual world, driven by infinite justice and love, guides us to learn, to choose, and ultimately to become the masters of our own destiny. The first and most immediate form of communication from your guide often bypasses the noisy filters of your logical mind and arrives as a sudden, unexpected thought, a powerful burst of intuition, or an unmistakable flash of inspiration. This is the silent language of the spirit, a form of mental transmission that works directly upon the perispirit and, consequently, upon the neural network of the physical brain. It is the subtle yet incredibly potent signal that allows your guide to pierce the veil of materiality. Consider those moments when you are about to finalize a significant decision, perhaps one based purely on self-interest or flawed logic, and suddenly, a completely alternative idea, intrinsically beneficial and morally sound, surges forth, compelling you to pause and reconsider the entire trajectory. This is frequently your guide planting a seed of enlightenment. As Kardec meticulously explored in the Medium's book, communication operates through the manipulation of spiritual fluid, that universal energy that interconnects all things. The guide, a master of this fluid, influences your thinking processes by acting upon your perispirit, implanting what are essentially high-frequency suggestions. Crucially, the quality of this reception is directly proportional to your moral disposition. If your mind is consistently preoccupied with base, material, or vengeful thoughts, the atmosphere is dense and discordant, making it extremely difficult for the high vibrational inspiration of a superior guide to penetrate. Conversely, a mind cultivated through sincere prayer, benevolent thought, and a genuine desire for good becomes a highly sensitive receiver, capable of clearly distinguishing the subtle wisdom of a protector from the confused, often obsessive whispers of lower, envious spirits. The key, therefore, is not to strain to hear a voice, but to purify the channel, creating an inner landscape of peace and receptivity. The true power of the guide lies in this delicate influence, never violating your consciousness, but gently illuminating the wisest path forward, empowering you to claim the inspiration as your own independent, self-willed act of wisdom. One of the most common, most direct, and arguably most profound avenues for spiritual communication occurs not while you are consciously awake, but during the mysterious hours of your sleep, the liberating power of nocturnal dreams. According to the Spiritist doctrine, sleep is far more than a simple biological necessity. It is a temporary and partial emancipation of the soul. When you drift into slumber, your spirit partially detaches from the physical body, maintaining connection only through the fluidic cord of the perispirit. Liberated from the dense confinement of the physical form, the spirit acquires an amplified freedom, enabling it to travel across spiritual planes, to meet with other spirits, both incarnate and discarnate, and to engage in learning, consultation, and planning for the waking life ahead. This temporary liberation allows for a much more fluid and direct transmission of information from your spiritual guide than is possible when the spirit is fully cloaked by the limitations of the physical body. It is during these nightly spiritual excursions that many individuals experience dreams of an astonishing vividness, dreams that carry a profound emotional weight and an unmistakable air of reality. These are not merely random firings of the subconscious mind. They are often the direct results of spiritual encounters. You may dream of a loved one who has passed, engaging in a conversation so clear, so real, that upon waking, the emotional consolation or the practical guidance received remains tangible. Figures like Divaldo Franco have often explained that the perispirit, acting as the bridge between the physical and spiritual, is the mechanism through which your guide imparts lessons, warnings, and strategies for overcoming upcoming trials. While some spiritual messages are received directly, others may be filtered and translated by your brain into symbolic or allegorical language, which is why proper interpretation is often required. But the essence remains. Sleep is a nightly rendezvous with the spiritual reality, a time when your guide can speak to you with greater clarity, offering the balm of peace, the illumination of understanding, and the precious reassurance that you are never truly navigating the tumultuous sea of life alone. The concept of spiritual guidance finds its most poignant, emotionally overwhelming proof in documented cases of post-mortem communication, narratives that move beyond the abstract and directly confront the human heart with the reality of survival. The detailed case surrounding Chico Xavier in 1979 serves as a classic, irrefutable example that transcends mere coincidence. It was a moment of utter despair for a mother whose son had been tragically taken in an accident. For months she was plagued by dreams of her son assuring her of his well-being, yet the rigid materialism of her grief led her to dismiss these moments as the cruel, deceptive fantasies of her anguished mind. She was trapped in the agonizing belief that death meant final annihilation. However, during a powerful mediumistic session conducted by Chico Xavier, the young man's spirit manifested with astonishing clarity. The spirit did not merely offer generic words of comfort. He disclosed intimate, specific details that constituted unmistakable forensic proof of his identity. He revealed the precise, secret hiding place of a tender love letter he had penned to his fiancée before his passing, the exact serial number of a personalized watch he had purchased as a surprise, and a private coded message intended only for his closest friend. The family, initially skeptical and overcome with emotion, was compelled to verify these specific claims. The astonishing result was that every single detail was verified as chillingly and unequivocally accurate. The significance of this transcends the simple confirmation of identity. It provides the irrefutable evidence that the spirit, consciousness, memory, and, most importantly, love all survived the death of the physical body. Furthermore, the spirit confirmed that his persistent visits in his mother's dreams had been a loving, tireless effort to prepare her for this more direct communication, attempting to inject consolation and fortitude into her heart, even while she remained blinded by pain. This powerful narrative illustrates the immense moral utility of genuine spiritual communication, serving not to satisfy idle curiosity, but to console the inconsolable, to prove the immortality of the soul, and to demonstrate that the bonds of affection are eternal, actively maintained by those who have simply transitioned to a different, higher dimension of existence. Beyond the quiet whisper of intuition and the vivid clarity of nocturnal dreams lies the third, most surprising sign of guidance, the orchestration of synchronicity. This is the phenomenon of seemingly casual events, those perfect accidents or incredibly timely coincidences that appear in your life at the precise moment to protect you, to propel you, or to teach you a lesson that is absolutely vital for your current progress. In the Kardecian framework, these events are not random flukes of probability. They are the result of the meticulous, loving work of your spiritual guides and the wider spiritual organization dedicated to executing the divine plan in your life. The superior spirits, operating from a dimension where time and space are perceived differently, can foresee the convergence of events and influence the necessary players to create opportune conditions. Consider those moments, the desperate need for a specific solution that suddenly appears in a discarded newspaper article, the chance encounter with a stranger whose single comment provides the key to unlocking your next professional step, or the utterly inexplicable cancellation of a trip that later revealed narrowly saved you from a tragic event. These are the direct manifestations of higher organization. As the spirits communicated through mediums like Chico Xavier's guide Emmanuel, there is a complex, tireless organization working to prepare the ground for crucial encounters and lessons. Your guides utilize the laws of attraction, that is, the moral and emotional frequency of your needs and desires, to align the external conditions. When you are genuinely seeking to grow, to serve, or to rectify an error, the necessary people, resources, and circumstances are often moved into your path, not magically, but through a refined, fluidic influence on the thoughts and decisions of others. Recognizing synchronicity requires a shift in perspective, moving away from a purely mechanistic view of the universe to one where every coincidence is seen as a deliberate, loving intervention, urging you to trust in a wisdom far greater than your own limited foresight. The efficacy of spiritual communication, according to Allan Kardec, is fundamentally governed by the law of affinity, which dictates that like attracts like in the spiritual realm. This principle directly relates to the concept of elevating your vibrational frequency. The universe is composed of cosmic fluid, a single universal elementary matter, and our thoughts and emotions act upon this fluid, creating an atmosphere, a unique field of spiritual emanation that either attracts or repels certain entities. In the Kardecian view, your spiritual environment is not dictated by geography, but by your moral state. Spirits of higher evolution, including your guides and elevated loved ones, vibrate at a high, pure frequency corresponding to unconditional love, deep gratitude, genuine forgiveness, selfless charity, and pure, selfless prayer. These beings are therefore naturally drawn to the same high-frequency atmosphere created by a heart dedicated to virtue. Conversely, the spiritual realm is vast and contains spirits of all moral levels, including those who are inferior, suffering, envious, or vengeful, the lower spirits. These are inevitably attracted by the vibrations of hatred, negative thoughts, vanity, and vices. Kardec emphasized that to establish communication with superior spirits, you do not need to perform elaborate rituals. You must simply cleanse your inner temple. When you consciously dedicate yourself to practices that elevate your sentiment, such as sincere, heartfelt prayer, the practice of charity without expectation of return, and the genuine effort to forgive those who have wronged you, you are effectively changing the frequency dial on your soul's radio. This transformation creates a perfect, harmonious tuning, making it easy for your guide's high-frequency message to pass through without distortion. This is the profound implication of gospel morality in the Spiritist doctrine. Moral effort is not just about ethical behavior, it is a fundamental spiritual technology for establishing clear, reliable, and protective communion with the highest spheres of guidance. To truly appreciate the depth of your spiritual guidance, one must embrace the cardinal teaching of reincarnation or the plurality of existences. As explained in the Spirit's book, reincarnation is not a random cosmic fate, but the sublime expression of divine justice and mercy, offering the soul endless opportunities to learn, to repair past errors, and to develop the virtues necessary for perfection. The significance of this to your guidance is immense. Your spiritual guides are not newly assigned acquaintances. They are often souls who have been with you across multiple incarnations. They are highly evolved beings who chose out of profound, compassionate kinship and wisdom to assist in your arduous journey of spiritual refinement. They are the perennial witnesses to your long, circuitous journey. Because of this profound, multi-life companionship, your guides possess an unparalleled, comprehensive knowledge of your soul. They are privy to your karmic patterns, the accumulated debts and merits from past lives, your most ingrained weaknesses, and your most enduring strengths. This intimate, eternal perspective allows them to tailor their guidance with an incredible, surgical precision, targeting the specific flaws you must correct in this life and presenting the exact trials you need to overcome for maximum evolutionary growth. When your guide inspires you to take a path that seems difficult or warns you away from a seemingly easy success, it is because they are acting on a panoramic view of your entire existence, recognizing that a momentary struggle today might be the necessary antidote to a persistent moral failing from a previous life. This knowledge should instill an unshakable trust in their direction, for they are leading you according to your eternal, spiritual necessities, not your fleeting, temporal desires. Allan Kardec's methodology for establishing reliable communication with the spiritual world is founded upon highly practical, moral, and rational principles, beginning with the first and most critical pillar, purification and protection. Before attempting to open this sacred channel, it is absolutely essential to prepare the environment and, more importantly, the inner self. The goal is to create a true sanctuary, a space devoid of distracting noise, electronic clutter, and any chaotic or profane energy, which allows for the spiritual atmosphere to settle and harmonize. However, the external preparation is merely secondary to the purification of thought. Since thoughts are tangible, fluidic expressions that attract spirits of corresponding nature, harboring negative emotions, anger, resentment, envy, or pride, is akin to broadcasting a low-frequency signal that repels superior guidance and actively invites the interference of inferior, often deceptive spirits. Kardec emphasized that the primary tool for purification is sincere prayer. Prayer is not a ritualistic chant. It is a fluidic connection, a powerful beam of light that elevates the soul's vibration, providing both a shield of protection and a beacon to attract high spirits. Mediums like Chico Xavier consistently began their work with prayers of profound gratitude and specific requests for the protection of the Almighty and the noble spirits. This practice teaches that moral discipline is the ultimate, non-negotiable form of defense. Seeking communication without prior moral preparation and explicit spiritual protection is dangerous because the spiritual realm is not uniformly virtuous. It contains a vast array of evolved and unevolved souls. By purifying your thoughts and intentions, you are not merely being pious. You are implementing the necessary spiritual acoustics to ensure that the voice you hear is the true benevolent counsel of your protector, and not the manipulative, confusing whisper of an unwelcome lower influence. Building upon the foundation of purification, the final two pillars of Allan Kardec's conscious communication technique are correct intention and perseverance. The second pillar, correct intention, is a powerful filter. Kardec warned vehemently that the spiritual channel should never be sought out of idle curiosity, frivolity, or, most destructively, for selfish material gain or the pursuit of vengeance. Superior spirits, your guides, are beings of profound wisdom and lofty purpose, and they will only engage in communication when they perceive an unshakable sincerity and a noble objective in the seeker. This aim must be centered on the moral development of the self, the finding of genuine consolation in grief, or the receiving of guidance necessary to better serve one's neighbor. If the motive is superficial vanity, financial profit, or the desire for sensationalistic proof, the superior spirits will deliberately withdraw, leaving the path open for the legions of less evolved, often deceptive spirits who are all too eager to satisfy curiosity with fabricated messages and flattery. The third pillar is the vital practice of patience and perseverance, Unlike a simple physical telephone call, spiritual communication is a subtle, developmental process that requires time, consistent practice, and the gradual refinement of the soul's inherent spiritual sensitivity. As exemplified by masters like Divaldo Franco, true, reliable guidance does not typically arrive in spectacular, immediate displays. It blossoms slowly, like a delicate flower, beginning with fleeting moments of intuition, subtle hunches, and deeply significant dreams. Many individuals abandon their efforts prematurely because they expect an instant, audible voice or a physical manifestation. However, the communication of elevated beings is respectful of your free will. It is often subtle enough to be ignored if you are not diligently paying attention, yet clear enough to illuminate the path if your heart is open. The development of this faculty requires the sustained moral effort and daily meditation practiced by figures like Edgar Cayce, reinforcing the fundamental truth that a conscious, unmistakable connection with your guides is the reward for persistent moral effort and an enduring, humble sincerity of purpose. As we conclude this exploration into the profound world of spiritual guidance, the central, liberating truth of the Spiritist doctrine emerges. The purpose of life is the soul's relentless journey toward perfection. This is the glorious destiny shared by every human being, and it is the singular focus of your spiritual guide's tireless mission. It does not matter how many perceived errors you carry from the past, or how profoundly flawed you believe yourself to be in the present. Your guide, armed with an eternal perspective, knows the divinity within you, your sacred spark, and works ceaselessly, patiently, and unconditionally to help you manifest it. Every challenge you face is fundamentally an opportunity for growth. Every sorrow you transcend strengthens your inner core, and every single act of love you extend brings you measurably closer to the true, elevated nature of your being. This is the ultimate reassurance provided by the spiritual messengers. You are not abandoned, you are never alone, and your struggles are never without an elevated purpose. The wisdom of Allan Kardec and the testimony of countless mediums confirm that our departed loved ones are not lost to the vastness of oblivion, but continue their existence in a parallel, non-physical dimension, often joining the ranks of those who guide and console us. They, alongside your designated protector, constitute an eternal spiritual family whose love is the most powerful, persistent force in the universe. The key to unlocking this full luminous connection is not complex. It is simply a matter of alignment. You must commit to aligning your actions, your intentions, and your thoughts with the higher moral principles they represent. Begin today by cultivating a state of spiritual docility, paying conscious attention to those subtle nudges of intuition, acknowledging the synchronous events that shape your path, and elevating your vibration through sincere gratitude and unconditional love. The channel is open, the guidance is constant. By actively recognizing and responding to the signs that surround you, your life will transform, not necessarily by the sudden removal of all obstacles, but by the profound acquisition of unshakable inner peace, an undeniable clarity of purpose, and the glorious capacity to love and serve, thereby fulfilling the divine mandate that your spiritual guide so desperately desires for you, that you become the perfected, luminous being you were always meant to be. The conversation with your guide is happening right now. The signs have been revealed, and the only remaining choice belongs to you.